Assalamualaikum. So we are from group 4 and we are going to present about benzoic acid. Benzoic acid is an organic compound which is described by the chemical formula C6H5COOH. Benzoic acid is an organic compound because it contains carbon and it is also an aromatic carboxylic acid. It is aromatic because it has a benzene ring in its chemical structure. Benzene is aromatic because it has alternating double bonds between each carbon. It is classified as a carboxylic because it has a carboxyl group in its structure, which is the COOH group. The structure of a C6H5COOH molecule is illustrated below. This molecule consists of benzene ring to which a carboxyl functional group is linked. The molecule consists of 7 carbon atoms, 6 hydrogen atoms, and 2 oxygen atoms. This compound exists as a crystalline colorless solid under a normal condition. The commercial production of benzoic acid is done via the partial oxidation of toluene with oxygen, catalyzed by manganese or cobalt naphthenate. This chemical reaction is illustrated below. Another industrial method of preparing benzoic acid by reacting trichlorotoluene with calcium hydroxide in the presence of water, and the treatment of the calcium benzoate product with hydrochloric acid. Benzoic acid is the most common food preservative used to protect the longevity of food products and become increasingly important in controlling the growth of microbes. It can be found in a variety of foods such as fruit, vegetables, spices, and dairy. Rich natural sources of benzoates can be found in spices such as cinnamon. However, it can prevent the growth of mold, yeast, and some bacteria. Cinnamon is harvested from the bark of the cinnamon tree and is naturally high in benzoate. It is often added to medicine, toothpaste, and oral hygiene products, chewing gum, soft drink, chocolate, cereals, liqueurs, cosmetics, including perfumes, creams, soaps, and balms, also used in essay cooking.
Move to the next part, which is physical properties. For benzoic acid, benzoic acid is colorless appearance and it looks like white crystalline solid. It also faintly pleasant odor. Benzoic acid is soluble in water, but it's soluble in an organic solvent. The density for benzoic acid is 1.27 gram per centimeter cube. Molecular weight for benzoic acid is 122.12 gram per mole. Melting point is 395 Kelvin, and the last one is boiling point for benzoic acid is 523 Kelvin.
The spectroscopy of benzoic acid. First is for 1H and MR spectrum have 4 signal. For HA is a singlet anti-shielded because HA atom is bonded to the electronegative ion, which is oxygen, so that the proton experience a higher magnetic field and shift downfield. For resonance HB, chemical shift is at 0.12 ppm. The C2 and the C6 proton resonance is split by the C3 and C5 proton respectively. The resonant chemical shift for HC is 7.45 ppm. The C3 and C5 proton resonance is split either side by the C3 or C5 proton and by the C4 proton into triplet, while resonant chemical shift for HD is 7.62 ppm. The C4 proton resonance is split either side by the C3 and C5 proton into triplet. The CB is shielded because of the higher density around the HB atom. The HB proton experience a lower magnetic field and resonated at a lower frequency, so the proton has not experienced the external magnetic field when the magnetic field induces the proton. It is same with HC and HD. It is shielded. For carbon-13, there are 5 different chemical shift lines in the carbon-13 NMR spectrum of the benzoic acid, indicating 5 different chemical environment of the 7 carbon atom of benzoic acid. Carbon atoms C1 and C4 are not equivalent to each other, ring carbon. It is due to symmetry of the monosubstitute benzene compound like benzoic acid are free rotation of the carboxyl group. The carbon C4 and C6 are equivalent to each other, which same chemical shift of C3 and C5. The peak from the graph, the peak A is higher deshielded. It is absorbed faster downfield. The range of the carbonyl chemical is 172.8. The peak B, C, D, and E are not bonded to oxygen atom, so it is deshielded and absorbed the faster upfield. Next is IR spectroscopy. Hydroxy or H stretching vibration at wave number 3300 to 2500 cm-1. It causes by the interference of the hydrogen bonding interaction. This common to all hydrogen bonded with hydroxy group. Carbonyl C double bond O stretching vibration wave number 1700 to 1680 cm-1 for carboxylic acid. RLCH stretching vibration band at wavelength 1100 to 1000. The presence of strong absorption at wave number for C double bond O and OH stretching vibration is very indicative of a carboxylic acid group in benzoic acid. Okay, next for MS spectroscopy. From the MS spectrum, the right end of this MS spectrum, where the value is 123 mZ, is known as the molecular ion peak. 100% relative abundance of relative intensity at 106 mZ is a base ion peak. It's a known that is very stable if compared to another ion. Last is UV spectroscopy. The benzene acid has a wavelength in 200 to 290 nm range. This is because benzene acid has a longer system of conjugated pi, and thus it will absorb all the longer wavelength.
Now we move to the next part, which is the biological activity for benzoic acid. It has 6 biological activities that we have found. The first one is antiviral agent, second anticycline agent, third anti-gel agent, fourth antioxidant or preservative agent, fifth estrogenic agent, and the last one is antimicrobial agent. Okay, for the anticycline agent, it suppresses hepatic fibrosis in chronic liver injury, and it used to take protective action to hypotoxia and nephrotoxia produced by acetaminophen. Okay, the next one is antiviral agent. It's used to treat viral infections such as hepatitis B, skin mucosa viral infection in human being. This antiviral activity of hydroxy benzoic acid ester is higher than of its corresponding acid. And for the last one is estrogenic agent. The detection of estrogenic activity is of any new compound or substance is very important, and especially when it is related to food industry.
Benzoic acid are widely used in pharmaceutical, food industry, cosmetic, food preservative, chemical industry, and beverage. First, for pharmaceutical, it is used as preservative in drugs. Second, food industry. It commonly used antibacterial preservative in food and beverage, especially in carbonated beverage, as it presents its strongest antibacterial activity at pH 2.4 until 4.0. Third, cosmetic. Benzoic acid possesses a wide variety of cosmetic applications, including product stabilizer, fragrance additive, and emollient. Fourth, benzoic acid is a commonly used food preservative appropriate for acidic food in the form of sodium benzoate. Fifth, chemical industry. Benzoic acid is mainly used as a chemical intermediate for the synthesis of other chemicals as well as for the production of sodium salt. The last one is beverage. It is used as a preservative in beverage such as fruit juice, sparkling drinks, and soft drinks. However, exceeding the permitted level of benzoic acid may cause some adverse reactions, including metabolic acidosis, convulsion, asthma, and allergic reactions. So that's all from us. Thank you.